Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to be ranking all my eyeshadow palettes. I've been collecting eyeshadow palettes for about a year now, so I have quite a few, 22 to be exact, but makeup is my hobby and I really enjoy using it, and eyeshadow is one of my favorite steps, so I do have a lot. I also just paid for most of these myself. Some of them I was gifted like as presents and stuff, but for the most part, I've paid for everything myself. I don't get paid, or as you may know, I don't get paid to do this on YouTube. I'm not monetized yet. You have to get to 1,000 subscribers for that. So please consider subscribing, as well as clicking the bell icon for notifications every time I upload. But without further ado, let's get on with this. It's going to be a long video, but if you're interested to see what my favorite palettes are, just keep watching. So as I said before, we will be starting with the worst and working our way to the best. So starting off with my absolute worst palette, it is this one from Wish. This is what the palette looks like inside. And I got this palette for a video I did right in the beginning of my channel, and my boyfriend chose a bunch of makeup items off Wish for me to use in a video. I personally wouldn't have picked this whole like shimmer palette for myself, but that's kind of why I've hung on to it, because obviously he chose it for me. So this is one of my absolute worst palettes. Next, this would have been the worst, but obviously because the other one is just full of shimmer. I like shimmers, but it's really, really crumbly and like it's just not the best quality, obviously coming from Wish. But at 21, we have my Chinatown palette. So this isn't the absolute worst, but it is right up there. First time I used this, I actually got a rash all around my eyes. So I don't suggest getting any palettes from Chinatown. They also have little to no pigment, so I definitely would not recommend. I did mention before that I had a full face of Chinatown makeup, but due to some technical issues like the sound wasn't correct and the autofocus wasn't working, I didn't post it. So that was the first time I used the palette, and like I said, I got a rash all over my eyes. But I tried it again, but I didn't get a rash, but literally little to no pigment. So this one is either going in the bin or I'm passing it on for someone else to get a rash. Just kidding, I'll throw it away. Then for number 20, we have this Beauty Treats palette, and it looked like a fun like rainbow palette, and honestly, I guess if you were a working makeup artist, this could be handy if it was good quality. So my mom got me this palette. It's a face palette and an eyeshadow palette, and they are available at Discam. It's their in-house brand, I think, but it's horrible. It's so powdery, it falls into my contact lenses and smells like talcum powder, and also the pigmentation is literally non-existent. So like I said, this is what the palette looks like, and then when you sorry about the light reflecting, oops, when you slide it open, they have some face products over there. I actually haven't tried it, and it smells so bad. It just smells like cheap makeup, but I did do a couple of looks in it, but as you can see from the swatches, it's really not the best quality. I do just keep it around for variety. Next, I actually can't even open this palette because I just dropped it and that shade broke, but this is the Collection-Malibu Waves palette. This is horrible. If you've seen my full face of collection makeup and also my little insert here, it is so difficult to work with. It doesn't build up. I think most of these are white based, so they just don't show up very nicely and look very, very powdery. I know that purples are very difficult to formulate, but all these shades look the same on the eye, and like I said, it is a white base and it like skips and jumps, and this is not a good one. I've seen people use the neutral one, which is called the Sahara something, and that looks a bit better than this, but this one is a no-go. At number 18, we have the Primark Berry Sweet eyeshadow, and this is what it looks like. Again, not a lot of variety, but I thought like I love purples and pinks, so as you can see by my eyes today, so I thought this would be nice, but it again is just not very pigmented. It was only £3, but honestly, you can get something else for £3 that's a lot better. but most of these have hard panned already, and it isn't very nice. There's no like really deep shade to darken up corners. It's just a very meh product. So that's my fault. I guess I could have chosen a different colorway, but this looked the most interesting to me and just wasn't worth it. At number 17, we have this Morphe palette, and it's broken, but this is what it looks like inside. And I was so excited because it was my first like really big palette that I got, but it was gifted to me. I didn't buy this. As you can see, there is a theme here. It's just affordable products, but again, there's not much pigment. They don't blend well, and it goes very patchy. If you try and blend two colors on top of each other, they tend to just disappear. So I haven't tried all the shades in here, but I use it obviously as a neutral palette, and it literally just doesn't stick on the eye. The black just blends into nothing as well, so not my favorite. Next we have the so-so category. So these were neither very exciting nor too disappointing. They kind of just meh. So I use them still sometimes because the pigmentation isn't terrible, or it isn't like the shimmers are good. So I still do use these, but they just didn't impress me very much, but also didn't disappoint me that much. At number 16, we have the Makeup Revolution Reloaded palette in Visionary. This is what it looks like, and what attracted me was obviously the purples, because like I said, I love purples and pinks, so any palettes that have that in, I'm immediately attracted to it. This almost ended up in the worst category, but I used it again, and I used all of the purples and did a halo eye, and it actually worked better than I remember it. The shimmers are okay, but the mattes look very similar, and I think the layouts of the palette definitely could have been better. It's just too sporadic. Like, it looks like a Rubik's Cube, or mixed up Rubik's Cube. So the mattes are disappointing, but the shimmers are okay, especially this one over here. If you've seen it swatched, it is like a goldy shift, and that is my favorite color in all the Revolution palettes. I just wanted to mention as well, these aren't all my palettes. Like, I do have a few back in the UK at my partner's house, so these are just the ones I have on hand at the moment. I can't even remember all the palettes that I have there, but I know I have a few W7 ones and like cheaper ones, as well as the Makeup Revolution X-Soph palette, and I have the Hot Dog palette, and I have another Charlotte Tilbury palette, and I have Essence palette, so, and She Glam palette, so I have a lot more there. So maybe I can do a roundup once I have all my stuff together, but for now I have half my things here and half in the UK. But moving on to number 15, we have the I can never say that. The Charlotte Tilbury Vintage Vamp palette, and this is just a quad, and it looks like this. Oh my gosh, when I first saw this, I was like, that is gonna be gorgeous. However, I thought I was gonna actually love it, as this was my first Charlotte Tilbury eyeshadow, but it leaves a lot to be desired. The shimmers are meh, and the mattes aren't very blendable, and I think the color selection just wasn't the best. But all considered, I'd say this is a rather like unmemorable shadow quad, but like it's so expensive, so I don't get it. Like, this shimmer over here looks so nice in the pan, but when you put it on, it's like flaky bits of glitter. So I think it could have been done better, as well as these two shades aren't fully matte. As you can see, they have like a slight sheen through them, so definitely not my favorite, and it is one of my more expensive products. At number 14, we have the Jolie You're on Fleek palette, and this was again gifted to me, and I am very grateful for it, but it comes in the meh category because it is just pressed glitter. It doesn't have any like stick to it, so you have to put down a glitter glue, and it just literally gets everywhere. It creases on your eyes, and I don't think the quality of this pressed glitter is very good. I'm not even sure if it's fully eye safe, because it definitely is huge bits of glitter, and it kind of cuts my eye if I use too much of it. So I did an all glitter look with this, and honestly, it came out looking really nice, but I think for Halloween or like New Year's Eve or like an occasional palette, this is okay, but it wouldn't have been my first choice for pressed glitters for sure. Nabla has a much nicer one than this. At number 13, we have the Illamasqua Movement Artistry palette, and oh my god, another one of my expensive palettes, but I was so excited. This color story is to die for, but the only shade that is good in this palette is this one over here, and it is such a gorgeous like white green and purple shift. It's gorgeous. You'll see it on the, it's like a multi-chrome. You'll see it on the swatches, but this palette was so disappointing. I was originally more disappointed, I think, because I didn't have the technique and the knowledge to know that different palettes and formulas need to be blended out and situated on the eye differently. So now that I'm a little bit more experienced, I feel like I can work with a palette. It's not as pigmented as I would like it to be, but I've created some really pretty looks with it. I'll add some in over here. But generally speaking, the quality of this is really bad for the price. You'll see in my favorites, my top palettes, I have affordable products that perform 100 times better than this. But for this shimmer over here, it couldn't go in the worst pile, because that shimmer is so gorgeous. Next, I have this Barry M Lost Treasures palette. I loved this palette when I first got it. Again, I wasn't very experienced and I didn't have much skill, so I created a couple of looks, but generally speaking, the shimmers are amazing in here, amazing. They're like so foiled and it's so pretty. However, the mattes, honestly, we could have done without them. They are so bad. They just blend away, they're patchy, and they really don't go with the color scheme. Like, I would have put like a lighter brown in here and maybe not such a purpley brown, and this purple could just be gotten rid of completely. Like, put something more neutral in here, although this is neutral, but you know what I mean, to complement the other shimmers, because that didn't happen. But the shimmers are quite crumbly, but if you use a glitter adhesive, it comes out really nice. So yeah, that's why it's in the So-So palette. Like, the mattes just threw this off and gave it a disadvantage. At number 11, we have so we're already halfway, we have the L'Oreal I Go Wild palette. I didn't even know L'Oreal actually made eyeshadow palettes, but when my mom got me this one, I was quite stoked, because, you know, the color story is really pretty, honestly, especially that beetroot shade up there. It looked gorgeous at first, as well as the shimmer over here. I just feel like the variety of looks you can do with this is very limited. And yeah, that's all I have to say about this one. At number 10, we have this BH Cosmetic Mrs. Claus Santa's Daughter Is Here to Slay So Spoiled palette. I accidentally bought this because I just wanted to try out the BH Cosmetic formula, and it was on sale on Beauty Bay, so I snagged it up thinking it would be a great palette to try. And then I realized it was a Christmas palette, so I haven't done a video with it just because of that. But as you can see, the look that I created wasn't terrible, but yeah, the mattes in here are really good, but the shimmers just fall flat. They swatch so good, and you definitely need a glitter glue again just to have them adhere. This shade over here is like a duochrome, and I was so excited to use that, but it just left me wanting more and left more to be desired. So yeah, I haven't dived too much in this, but I think during the festive season I will definitely do a video with this, doing like a nice Christmas look. So yeah, it is a cute palette, but like I said, the formula is just not there. The last eyeshadow palette we have in this category is the Collection Eyes Uncovered. This was one of my first eyeshadow palettes I bought when I was in the UK in, I think it was the end of 2020. Yeah, the end of 2020. That was right when I started my channel, and I had made like a little Boots order, and this was one of it. It was like £1 or £2. I was jobless, so this definitely appealed to me, and I did love it when I first used it, but obviously I started using other products, so this fell short and I haven't used it like that much. Again, it is just a neutral palette, which is lovely for every day. Like, this color and this color are so similar, they didn't need to be in the same palette, to be honest. But like I said, I hadn't used it for a long time, and when I did my look with it, it actually looked really, really nice. But yeah, that's the last one we have in that category. Not terrible, but also not in my top picks of eyeshadows. Finally, we've arrived to my top favorite palettes that I have in my collection right now. Starting from the bottom, working our way to my number one favorite, which I have on my eyes today. But coming in at slot number 8, this is the Passion Pro Tantalizing Turquoise palette, and these are all shimmers, and this was 50 Rand, 49 Rand 95 to be exact, and I really want to go get some more shades, but these are gorgeous. I usually just like throw some bronzer in the crease and then we'll add one of these shimmers, or I've done like a full shimmer look and it looks gorgeous. The shadows are nice and soft and not too crumbly, but you can tell the difference between the shades on the eyelid. None of them look the same. So I think this is a really, really good palette if you want to find something affordable. And yeah, they have different colors as well. They have a neutral, a purple, a pink, like they have quite a few, and they are really, really good. I am building up to make like a professional kit, so I will definitely buy a few of these to add in as eyeshadow toppers because they are gorgeous. At number 7, we have the e.l.f. Bite Size Jalapeno palette. This quality of the mattes are not the best, but the shimmers are amazing. They look so foiled and wet. They are just gorgeous, and I cannot recommend these enough. I don't like all matte palettes, to be honest, so I would recommend getting the ones with a couple of shimmers in, and they make such nice monochromatic looks. I love green on my eyes as well, as much as I love purple, so this was really, really a good addition to my collection. At number 6, we have this Mood palette from Mode Elite, and this I got in France. This was like 3 or 4 euros, to be honest, but the quality is so good. However, the looks you can create are quite limited, maybe 3, maybe 4 looks you can do with this, but it is gorgeous. All the colors are true to color, and it just looks so good on the eye. They blend out really well, and you can get like a nice sunset look. Like, it's really good, and I cannot recommend this enough. If you ever are in France, go to Maxi Bazaar and you'll find different colorways as well, but the quality of this is really good. I don't know what I expected in France, but it's really good. At number 5, top 5, we have this Essence Jurassic Park palette. This is what it looks like inside. It is no longer available, I think, because it was limited edition. It's no longer available everywhere, but you can still find them online, and if I find a link, I'll definitely add it down below. But this is the first Essence palette that I really enjoyed. I haven't tried the small little 6-pan ones, but this is really good, and the green duochrome in here is just so gorgeous. I love it. Coming in at number 4, this is an OG palette for me. I got this back in like 2018, I think. It was one of my first purchases in Sephora in Dubai, and this is the Huda Beauty Topaz Obsessions. It's very well used. Unfortunately, I lost one shade because I am clumsy, but this is a gorgeous palette. The quality of this is so good. I haven't tried many Huda Beauties. I had the Coral Obsessions one as well, I think it's called, but I ended up giving that to my friends because the colors because the color was just too light for me and I didn't enjoy it that much. But honestly, these look so good on the eyes. It's nice warm tones and is perfect for like fall looks and winter dark smoky looks, and I really appreciate the quality of this, and it has a mirror in it, so really love this one. I think it's also still available at some places, I think like eBay, Amazon, but if I can find it again, I will link it down below. Top 3, guys. So I'm sure if you've watched my channel at all, you'll know that this is one of my absolute favorites, and it is the Makeup Obsessions After Dark palette. I read up some reviews before I actually reviewed this, and they were so bad, like very bad reviews, but this impressed me so much, and I've created some really stunning looks with this. So I cracked the mirror. Don't judge me. That's probably why I have so much bad luck at the moment. But this is what the color story looks like. The greens are absolutely gorgeous. All the shimmers in here are really impactful and they are just too gorgeous. Honestly, I love this palette, but the reason it isn't number one is because the other palette was a little bit more enticing for me because I do like colorful looks. So this is a bit more like neutral with a pop of green, but honestly, love this palette so much. It's so gorgeous. So top two, here we go. This comes in at number two. It is the first 42 pan I ever bought. It's got a huge mirror in it, and I was so excited when I got this because it is a complete rainbow palette, which if I were to do what I want to with makeup, I think this will be great for like a professional kit. I'll just sanitize it like you do, and honestly, I love this palette. It is so gorgeous. However, there is only like two shimmers in here. I think it's two. Yeah, there's two, like not even proper shimmers. They're more like satin shades. So that's these two over here. And personally, I prefer, like I said, a mix of shimmers and mattes. However, I bought this in a little duo pack when Beauty Bay was doing a little deal, and I paid £19 for two palettes. So yeah, I really enjoy this. Like, I love how it's like set out with the different colors and different variety of colors, so you can do monochromatic looks. So I'm really happy with this, and I absolutely love this palette. I've traveled with it loads now, like everywhere I've gone. I've just taken this with me because you never know when you could need it, like Halloween or New Year's Eve, Christmas. You know, it has a little bit of everything, neutrals, and I'm really happy with this purchase. And it was so affordable, and the quality is so good. It's not patchy. It doesn't, I mean, it's difficult to blend. I'm not going to lie. Like, you have to learn to work with this palette, but definitely one of my favorite palettes, and the looks that I've created are obviously really cool. Coming in at number one is the little baby one of this, and this is the Brights 16 pan palette, and this has a mix of shimmers and matte. So I have this on my eyes today. I'm actually doing a 5 looks 1 palette with this because it's still available. It's only £12 for this at the moment, but if they have a deal for the two palettes for £19, really, you should buy it. You can access Beauty Bay in South Africa as well. I've checked. However, the price comes out in dollars, but they do ship to South Africa, and obviously you just pay customs and stuff, but this is still available. I've created some gorgeous looks with this as well. Like I said, I created like a green and blue look, and it looked stunning. It was very inspired by a look that Morgan Turner did, but there's neutrals again and a mix of mattes and shimmers. The shimmers are really gorgeous, as you can see on my eyes right now, and I absolutely love this palette, and I cannot recommend it enough. So that brings us to the end of today's video, guys. I really hope you enjoyed this type of video. I can do more rankings if you do enjoy it. I don't have like a huge collection, but I do have a collection of like very affordable makeup. So let me know down below what your thoughts are, and if you've tried any of these palettes and what you think. Also, please recommend some makeup brands that you would like me to try, bearing in mind that I am in South Africa. But other than that, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you